Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, a congresswoman from Georgia, is now saying the federal government is literally controlling the weather. We're controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous. It's got to stop.
This is a ridiculous claim on its face, and it's so easily disprovable, not of people openly discussing it for decades now.
The foundation for the development of a weather satellite that will permit man to determine the world's cloud layer and ultimately to control the weather, and he who controls the weather will control the world.
The Air Force has gotten great value out of HAARP in the past. We took over from the Navy and managed it and actually did a number of experiment campaigns up there and have finished our work that we were interested in doing up there. We've moving on to other ways of managing the ionosphere, which the HAARP was really designed to do, was to inject energy into the ionosphere, be able to actually control it.
Another example is the array of technologies, often referred to collectively as geoengineering, that potentially could help reverse the warming effects of global climate change. One that has gained my personal attention is stratospheric aerosol injection.
Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts.
Or declassified documents that talk about it, but simply by our nation's own laws, such as Public Law 94-490, otherwise known as the National Weather Modification Policy Act of 1976, which was passed October 13th of that year. The stated purpose of which, in part, is literally, quote, to develop practical methods and devices for weather modification. I mean, that's a law that was passed in this country. It was a program. I'm not even sure why we have to continue arguing about this at this point in 2024. It's not a theory. This isn't a crazy, kooky theory. It's a fact. It's on record. Perhaps Biden made such a provocative, contentious claim publicly just to take the focus away, even if briefly, from the growing tide of discontent.
Ridiculous. It's got to stop.
By means of cloud seeding, atmospheric scientists are trying to find out if rain can be brought on prematurely in the clouds of a threatening thunderstorm. If it can, it might also be possible to reduce the destructive lightning discharges at the height of the storm. Records are kept of the frequency and types of lightning strokes of seeded and unseeded storms. Statistical analysis will tell if any significant modification has taken place. That was a big one. Investigating the detailed nature of such processes is the prelude to the possible control of some of the harmful aspects of the weather.
For a decade later, the U.S. military conducted experiments to bring weather to the battlefield. October 1966. The Vietnam War is in full swing. U.S. military scientists are devising a way to slow down enemy forces using the weather.
The U.S. had gone from advisor status to in-field combat status, and we're not doing well. As a result of not being able to make progress on the ground, the U.S. went to bringing the battle into the atmosphere above the battlefield.
The Air Force employed a groundbreaking military directive called Project Popeye.
Project Popeye was a weather modification program that involved cloud seeding, and the idea was to produce or exaggerate the monsoon rains that are traditional in that region.
The government is literally controlling the weather. We're controlling the weather. It's beyond ridiculous.
How dare you?
Experiments are carried out beforehand with the military aircraft dropping silver iodide crystals in clouds over a strip of the Laos Panhandle, east of the Belovans Plateau in the Sekong River Valley. Experiments are carried out beforehand with the military aircraft dropping silver iodide crystals in clouds